Yeah.
Welcome back into BBN Unfiltered, where Kentucky fans tell it like it is. This is Monday, right? March 9th, the SEC Tournament Preview Show. We have Coach Kyle on here as usual, and then our special guest that's coming back to make his second appearance,
Right?
Michael Moreno. What's up, buddy?
What's happening, Austin? Thanks for having me back on, man. I'm glad I was
Yes,
able to make
sir.
it back on. You know, I passed the first test, and now I'm back
You
for a
made
second.
you made
row.
the
made
first
it.
cut, right?
Made the first cut, right? Yeah, we brought you
Absolutely.
back. No, we're glad to have you, man. It's always great to have somebody like you.
So first off, again, man, we're inching towards mid-March. Here we are, SEC tournament week. We have a big week coming up, a tall task to face. But before that, Michael, I did want to get your thoughts on Kentucky, Florida from Saturday. We already had our post-game show. We had our rant about it. You let me know. What were your thoughts on that?
So for me, it started with we dug ourselves a really early hole. It just seems like this year our MO has been playing from behind. Like that's where we're
Right.
most comfortable. And unfortunately, when you started the goose egg in the deficit, doesn't help. It'd be different if we went down, 31-20, right? And it was 20. No, we started out 11-0. Like we didn't even see one go in, and Florida was humming. So I
Right.
think they set the tone early. And then I think, from a individual standpoint, I think Florida as a whole is starting to play like a 1 seed, and they're getting respected like a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember as a kid when I started getting, in trouble, whether it was taking somebody's candy from their plate or whatever it was, I had to learn a quick lesson that it's always the second one who gets caught. So a lot of what Florida does is they're super physical, and credit to them. Like even just talking about Malachi, like Chinyalu, Condon, Handlockton, they were physical as heck with him. And
Yep.
that's the scouting report, right? Like right now, it's like we got to be
Yeah.
as physical as we can and beat him down
Right.
because that's the one way that you can really start to affect his game. Now he'll meet the physicality, but he's still a freshman. Trying to meet
Right.
that for 30 minutes is a tall task. And you're looking at a team that's relentless in their approach in the front court. So, I think they were physical with us. And two, I just think we didn't give ourselves enough credit in our defensive principles. I think honestly for about 30 minutes, the back half, we competed pretty well on defensive end. I don't think we were great, but I think we competed most possessions. And the thing is to win those types of games, those grinded out games, you got to compete all the possessions.
Yeah.
That
Agreed.
being said,
Absolutely.
we've got ourselves back into a situation where, it's close enough for us to come back. We're down 5 with about a minute to go. We start pressing, which I've never been a fan of waiting to press until you're 39 minutes in the game.
No.
But it happened to work at the time.
Right.
Did the refs miss some calls? Yes. They sure didn't miss any on us, but they missed some
Mhm.
calls.
Yeah.
And so that late one, you can't leave it in those situations' hands, right? And that's
Yeah.
where it is. It's
Yeah.
like Klavchar missed calls at the end. Chinyalu traveled most of the game in the post. Missed some calls there. Condon, they finally gave him a traveling call early after 3 or 4 possessions. And so for
Right.
me, it's like you can sit there and add up all the plays that they missed, and you're like, okay, that would have definitely made a difference. But obviously, the glaring ones is going to be the Klavchar stepping out of bounds. It's going to
Sure.
be, plays like that. Like we just can't leave it in the referee's hands. Like we have to put
No.
together more of a complete game. We get off to a good start in the SEC tournament. Conference tournament play, I'm kind of segueing into that, but conference tournament play to me, it's an advantage for kind of those middle seeds, right? Like, us being the 10 seed, we're not necessarily, or the 9 seed.
Right. 9. You're right. 9. Yep.
That doesn't really give us any middle ground, but I think the teams who are in that 5 to 8 range have the advantage because they get to play a day versus a team who was significantly worse most of the time.
Right.
And then, Florida's sitting on days rest, like that's fine, but you're looking at as a 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed, those double bye teams, you might run into a team who's just won 2 straight and just blown them out and who's shot 45% from 3. You might run into that. So
Yeah.
there's advantages to where we're at, which I am pleased. Given the situation, I am pleased.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, just real quick to go back on, UK, Florida. Whenever I was watching it, I think that it was evident that Condon, Chinyalu, and maybe even Hauk got roasted in the film session whenever they were watching the game against us while
From Florida, at Florida.
watching
Yep.
Malachi chew them up for most of that time. So I think those guys were like, okay, like meet me at the block, right? And you could kind of see that. And listen, Malachi is going to get there physically to where he'll be that one.
Exactly.
He'll be that guy that initiates it. And I agree. It was just that first 4.5-minute stint to where we couldn't score. We punched back. Todd Golden calls a timeout. They readjust. They punch back harder. And then to me, at that point, the game was probably over. Even though we made it close, we made a run, calls, whatever it is. Florida is just a better team than us right now. And that's just a fact.
That's all right.
So
they're a bigger, stronger, older, more physical team than we are at this point, and where we are as a team and where they are as a team. You're looking at, they went SEC, and they're going to be a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. And that team's been on a heater for the last 2.5 months, and Golden's got them going, and they got an edge about them, and Golden, he isn't afraid to speak his little mouth, and but that's a good basketball team. And like you said with Malachi, he's going to get there where he's the beast in the middle, and I don't worry about that. I just, right now, once he goes out of the game, we don't have another guy that can take any type of physicality except Mo, and he's undersized. So, that game was about a lot of, I think Florida wanted to come in and prove that their big guys were better than our big guys, and they were there to prove that point emphatically.
Yeah, I agree. So let's dive straight into it. We got SEC tournament starting on Wednesday. We are the opening game, right? 12:30 tip-off. Wednesday at noon. Everyone else is, at the office working still, making their way to Nashville maybe. We got to come in with some energy, right? I mean, we have to show that no matter what happened 2 days ago, no matter what happened the last several weeks, like, it's tournament time now. Like,
it's a new season. New season. Man, now
I'm going to pull up this bracket real quick. Let me know if you can see this.
Hopefully Mr. Ron isn't watching. There we go.
Hey, here we are. All right. So, here we go. We're looking at first game, LSU, 16 seed. Again, SEC, there's no gimmies. There's no bunny games. Like, you got to come in ready to act like you're playing Florida again. Right? I mean, Michael, go ahead and lead us off. Like, what are your thoughts? What are we looking into as far as matchups against LSU, our path to not just winning it, but our path to getting to, Friday to get that rematch against Florida?
Right. So LSU, obviously, we all know what happened that game, dug a big hole. But it started, I feel like that's the common theme of most games, but it started a run for us. We could have ended up at 9-7, win 3 in SEC play to start out, which would have been terrible.
Yeah.
But I guess Colin Chandler thought it was a good idea to throw it to our 7-footer for a jump shot to win the game. And and luckily he hit it, right? So LSU, obviously, of all the teams in the league that they thought they could beat coming into the SEC tournament, it's probably us. And I would feel comfortable if I was LSU, simply because it took a game winner to beat us on our floor.
Sure.
Now, granted, the SEC tournament, the Wednesday games, everybody knows that those are played a little sloppy. Refs kind of let a lot go. It's going to be a track meet. LSU will run.
Yeah.
But I think, we have the opportunity to be tone setters here. Our last time in Nashville, if the guys remember, and I'm sure they do, was not very nice. Okay?
Not good at all.
Gonzaga thumped us, and we got booed off the floor by our own fans.
Yep.
And with a performance like that, what do you really say? Like, as a family member, I was tore up.
You're right.
It was one of the worst experiences of my life watching that. I like, literally, if there was a definition for unbelievable, it was that moment, just watching that, right? Because it's 85% Kentucky fans in there.
Yeah.
Maybe 90. And you play so bad that your fans want to boo you off the floor.
Right.
Oof, man, that was some heavy stuff.
Yeah,
But we have an opportunity to change the narrative. Looking at
right.
the SEC awards that came out today, Otega Oweh, second team. You're looking at the guy who was
Who
preseason player of the year. He's second
See,
team. You're
yeah,
going
that's a
like I'm
punch.
going to
Yeah,
show you what a second team player looks like. Then that's
right,
fine. Like Malachi's all freshman. I'm going to show you what an all freshman team looks like. Denzel Aberdeen, Colin Chandler didn't make either team. I'm going to show you what a regular SEC player looks like then.
right.
If this
Yeah.
is what you say is regular, then I'll be regular, all right, and I'll do my job, and then you tell me if I'm regular.
Yeah, they
We
need to
come out
go
and
in
handle
there with that
business.
chip.
Yeah, like we come out and handle business, it's going to be because we came in there with that chip on our shoulder.
Yeah. Do we know who made first team? Who knocked Otega out? I'm curious.
Acuff, so it was Acuff, player of the
Obviously,
year.
Akov.
Tommy Houck, best
Yep.
player on the best team. Tyler Tanner, LeBaron
Vandy.
Philon,
Okay.
and here's who I think knocked him out. Now, granted, had a great year and was one of the best defenders in the SEC. Jacoby Gillespie, which I don't know if I would take Jacoby Gillespie over
No.
Otega Oweh
No,
because
I agree.
Wow.
Otega in conference play, 14 and 18 games over 20 points, 21 a night, almost 3 steals a game. You know how hard it is?
Yes.
Yeah, very. I mean, extremely. I was shocked. I saw that second team, graphic on social media, and I said, "How does Otega not get first team?" I mean,
What do you
thank you
gotta
for that
do?
information because I was like, "Who knocked him out, man?"
Yep.
Because I don't get it. I agree. No way Gillespie should have gotten first team over Otega. No
Nope.
way.
No. And that's where it almost seemed like Kentucky gets slighted now in a lot of, it just we're just not the Kentucky of old. That drives me crazy.
Agree.
Yeah. So man, looking at our path, like Michael, I agree. LSU's probably feeling pretty good right now, saying, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
man, we had them beat. They had a 0.001% chance to complete that pass and come down and hit that shot, and we did, and it was incredible." But yeah, I think they're probably feeling pretty good, saying, "Hey, we can win this game."
Mhm.
So I mean, like I said, we have to come out like we have the mentality that we're playing Florida again. Not just on Wednesday, but if we get
We
through
got to earn
that,
the right to play them.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
same thing with Missouri. Missouri came into Rupp and beat us. Again, that was probably a game that we had won, and a few mistakes here and there kind of just bit us in the butt. So
Yeah.
two kind of revenge games in a way to get back to Florida.
Which is what we want.
Right. And I'm worried about LSU. I'm not going to lie, Michael. I'm right there with you. They're going to come in confident. And, you know, we just came off a bad loss, and their confidence could push if it's close through the first half, watch out. I think the second half could be real scary for Kentucky. And you let a team like LSU start getting that confidence during a game, and we could be in that mode again where we're fighting at the end of the game. And this is the one team I didn't want to see on a Wednesday. It was the one I didn't want to see. So, South Carolina or somebody like Oklahoma, I wouldn't have worried, but this team scares me. And I think we got a good path to get to Friday, but a tough path to get to Friday.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact alone that we were able to avoid Alabama and Arkansas. Now, obviously, we're looking at Florida if we make it to Friday, but I would have not wanted to play Bama or Arkansas again after what you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like, and again, like we saw what happened against Florida twice, and I think that the opportunities were there both times.
Agreed.
We beat Arkansas. I think that was probably our best full game of the year was at Arkansas. And Michael, you tell me what you think, but I would not have wanted to play Cal and Arkansas again at that point. So, I mean, you have to look at where we are with what we have.
According to Kentucky fans, that probably would be our easiest game considering that the certain somebody doesn't care about the SEC tournament, according to him.
Yeah, that's what he
But,
likes to
hey,
tell
I
people.
love that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you straight up, I wouldn't want to see him either because we put together the most complete game of the year and still walked out of there knowing probably could have lost that game. had we not,
Right.
had we not slipped up there for a minute. And two, now, I mean, obviously my favorite player in the SEC is my brother.
Right.
Okay. Followed by the Kentucky basketball team.
Right.
A non-Kentucky player, my favorite player in the SEC outside of Kentucky is Darius Aiko. The Joker's player of the year in the league,
Yeah.
freshman of the year in the league, probably going to be a first or second team All-American. Led the conference in points and assists per game. And if you just watch him, now granted, he looks already like an NBA guard. He looks like Stephon Marbury back in the day.
Yep. He
He
does.
does.
But if you just watch him, he has the same demeanor all game. Super stoic, poker face, right? And he just walks around and it's like, man, I know I'm about to give you 30. Like,
Yeah,
no,
right.
like,
Yep.
so, as far as from a most complete game, I think between Arkansas and maybe
Probably Vandy, right?
probably
Vandy at home?
Vandy. Yeah,
Second
probably
Vandy
Vandy at
game. Yeah.
home.
Yep.
Mississippi State was all right,
Yeah.
but obviously they're a 13 seed. It's not because they're bad. It's just they're not as good as everybody else.
Yeah. Right.
I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I agree with you.
go ahead, Coach.
100 on that. Just go ahead.
So, making it to Friday, again, tall task. Super tall task. If we can get there, I do think, like Michael said, if we have that momentum carrying us, that takes us into Friday against Florida. There's always that saying that's it's hard to beat a team 3 times, which I get. It's kind of redundant, but it's actually true. Do you think about last year?
It is hard.
Think about last year whenever we played Tennessee for the 3rd time in the actual NCAA tournament. We have to put ourselves back there in that situation. And I think, like I said, we're going to learn a lot about what this team can bring if they can string along. And we talk about fatigue, right? Well, we're going to see how we can face the adversity of what fatigue actually is if we can win 5 games in 5 days.
That word, just him even putting that out there, the whole fatigue thing goes through me. Because to me, it gives them an excuse when they don't. If they, let's say they get to, and they beat LSU, get to Missouri and lose, and he says, our legs were just dead. We were tired. That excuse doesn't fly anymore. I mean, everybody else is playing the same amount. It's just that excuse doesn't fly. I mean, I get it. I mean, I get they get tired and that and those things. And if they're not in shape or they're fatigued, then coach, do something about it. I mean, my God, then do something about it. And that's where I'm optimistic, but I'm so damn frustrated with this team and this year that it goes through me. And the only bright spots that we talk about are Malachi and Otega every week. And it gets to the point where, or Colin here and there, we just need somebody besides the 3 to step up.
Go ahead, Michael.
I think, when you look at it from a roster breakdown, like I think this team was designed to be deep, and now we're not. So as a team, I heard something really good on a broadcast yesterday. Watching one, it was either Saturday or Sunday, one of the mid-major conference championships, and one of the announcers said the best programs are always player-led, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. You can sit and you can point the finger at the coaches, you can point the finger at the administration, point the finger at the strength staff, whatever it is. But I think when you really boil it down, like the guys got to take it upon themselves to say, look, fellas, like we're all we got. Like, find it in yourself. You may have came here thinking you were going to play 15 minutes a game. Well, now you play 25. So you're going to need to find another gear for those 10 minutes or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I think
absolutely.
as a coach, you meet the players right there. You say, look, this is the expectation, because we love to talk about what the standard is here. But I think that's where you can have an honest conversation with your team. Like, these are young men. You need to talk to them like young men. So you tell them, look, my expectation is that all of you could play 40 minutes if I asked you to. So you need to do what's required for you to play 40 minutes. You may never play 40 minutes ever. You may never play 30 minutes ever. But if you're ready to play a full 40 for me, and I know I can trust you, gosh, am I more likely to walk down that bench and say, "Hey, buddy, let's go. I know
Right.
you got it. I know you want it. Let's go."
That's
Like,
a
Yeah.
I just think
Yeah.
there's gotta be a kind of a ping pong of challenges, right? Like,
right.
the coaches need to challenge the players to rise to it, and the players need to be like, "Nah, coach, that's too easy," you know?
Yes.
So just there's gotta be some push back and forth, right? Like, they have to lean into one another.
Right.
You gotta
Yeah.
lean into that the coach is gonna push you, and you wanna be pushed, and the coach has gotta lean into you to say, "Look, this kid's gonna do everything I ask, so I'm gonna ask him to do everything I need him to do." And so, that's why I think the it's not really a light switch, but I think that's where the shift has to begin, is the
Right.
players have to decide, like, "This is what I want. This is what we want. This is our goal. How do we get there? We have to be," and granted, you can't, like, if they wanted to, they could have ran for 3 hours today. It's not gonna get them in elite shape by Wednesday.
No.
Yeah. Right.
Not
Yeah. No.
not
But they
at
gotta
Absolutely.
all.
figure
I
it
mean,
No.
out
like
If
internally,
that.
this isn't
how
something
bad do they
happening
want
now,
that?
yeah, yeah. If this isn't
Absolutely. I
something
mean,
happening now,
for sure.
this
No.
is a will and a want to situation now.
I agree with you, on several parts of that. Like coaches and players challenge each other, come together, whether it's in practice, one-on-one meetings, in the game, whatever it is. That dynamic, you want it to be present in every aspect of your team, whether it's a game, practice, walking around campus, doesn't matter. You want that back and forth to be there all the time, right? I agree. I think that brings a whole different side to a successful team, that others that are just so up and down, well, that part just may not be there,
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure
So
every single player that's played at UConn in the last 5 years is best friends with Dan Hurley. I'm sure that they call him every day. They said, "We had so much fun practicing for you and
yeah,
with you."
hey,
Like, I'm sure it's all just been a cakewalk up there. I'm sure that
Right.
every player
yeah,
I'm sure, and this should hit home, I'm sure every player that Rick Pitino's ever coached looks at him and says, "Man, coach, I loved you from the day I met you. We had a great time together." I'm sure that's what's
right.
been said.
Right.
And obviously, Michael, we can sense your sarcasm because the reality is, and we've all been in it, in
Yeah.
the thick of it. And man, there are just some practices or weeks of practice to where you and your coaches just might butt heads because the players trying to prove themselves maybe in their own way that's not completely bought into what the system is, etc. I mean, there's just so many different ways that can go. And yeah, I mean, like there's times where like, gosh, man, this guy. I mean, here's my coach right here that I grew up. I played for him for years, and
We butted
there's
heads.
times where he'd take me out of the game, and he'd just be like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It's part of it. It's part of the grind. But to your point of you can't get in shape right now. You can run all day. You can run 25 miles or a marathon.
No.
That's not going to get you in shape for 48 hours from now. That has to be a collective effort from October 1 all the way to now, right?
Summer.
I mean, it's
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I
Like
mean,
summer.
summer. Yeah, I mean, you have to be in that shape year round. These guys are in their athletic prime, and we know
Yeah.
that. We all know that, and it's just. So like,
Yeah, I
let me
remember
ask
my Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
let me ask y'all, and outside of Kentucky, if you could pick a dark horse for this tournament, who's the first team that comes to your mind?
Georgia Bulldogs.
I was going to
Okay.
say same thing. I was just getting ready
Okay.
to say Georgia. I like their coach, and I think they're a good team. And I really think looking at it, I mean they could make a nice little run. I mean, and they'd have Texas or Ole Miss, and then possibly Alabama, and they have a good chance to beat Alabama. Yeah,
I think
I agree with you, Michael, on that 100.
I think Georgia. So on that first round line, outside of Kentucky, I think Oklahoma could make a run. I also think Texas could too, but primarily Oklahoma just because they're so unpredictable. And Nigel Pack shoots it well.
Yep.
DeAndre Davis, I mean, about as good as it gets as a wing in the league. Texas would be you're going to find a fan in me. It'd be hard pressed for me to find a better NBA prospect in our league than Dalen Swain
I
at 6'8".
agree. I
Yes.
agree. Yeah.
I
And so
that's yes.
and there's a
I
lot of
watched
good
him
ones.
at Xavier. Oh, He
Yeah.
was tough, man.
It's
He's
not that
good.
I think that he could be, a lottery pick or whatever. I just think based on NBA needs, Acuff's gonna get picked higher. You
Right.
know, Tyler Tanner probably gets picked higher. Tommy Hauck probably gets picked higher, like, just based on what people project them to be. But when I look at Dalen Swain, I see a guy that could play in the league for double-digit years and eventually evolve into a scoring option. Just
Yeah.
because
Yeah, I
he's an
agree.
elite finisher, percentage-wise. He's one of the best, honestly, maybe the best in the country in isolation scoring, and his percentages with that. So,
Yeah,
you know
that's what to me, that was what kept them in the game against us, 'cause I was watching that game, and I was texting coach, and I said, "Swain is an NBA player out there
Yeah.
playing against college dudes," and you could just tell by the moves he was making, his body, the way his footwork, the way he moves, his length, you're right, I mean, he's built to play in the NBA. I would have
Agree.
killed to have a build like that, man.
Agree.
Yeah,
Agree.
Incredible.
he can take a bump and finish. Like he can take a knock like he'll take in the league and finish at the rim as good as anybody in the country. And and he's become a much better shooter over the last couple years. And now if you leave him out there, he's going to knock it down. He can put a 30 spot on you real quick.
Exactly. Agree. But no, between Georgia and Texas, those are the 2 teams I think that could be any sort of dark horse just because the makeup of the roster, the coaching actually, one of my
Coach.
former assistants is at Georgia.
Okay.
He's an assistant on staff down there. So in my opinion, looking at that staff and just the roster construction, I mean, they have huge, huge size advantages at certain positions, when they want it. They're about the only team that I would look at and say, okay, from a size perspective, they match up really, really well with Florida,
Yep.
Yeah.
you know?
Love
Yep. I
that.
agree.
So
Love
Yep.
that. I agree. I agree. That's a great point, and you also can't sleep on Sean Miller, man. So Texas
right.
is
No, Sean's a good
absolutely,
coach.
yeah. So if we looking at what we have, the challenge that we have to face, all the factors coming in together, coach, and Michael, you can say it or you don't have to. It's whatever you feel comfortable doing.
Mhm.
Can we make this run? Can we win 5 games in 5 days and accomplish the feat of this Goliath standing in front of us? I mean, in all seriousness, like, can it happen? And I want y'all to be honest, like,
Well, if Kimba always shows up, then we might be able to. No, like, okay, here's the thing, right? If we knock down shots,
Right.
okay, and we find a rhythm in the gym, I think LSU should take care of itself. They're long, they present a matchup problem for us at some, but defensively, they're not super disciplined,
Mm-mm.
right? And then offensively, they're gonna have to shoot it really well. Now, if we can contain McKinnon from the
Yep.
outside and force, their off guard, or sorry, force their point guard to make a bunch of plays. I don't know if Dedan Thomas is back yet, but if the freshman Jalen Reese is in and we force him to make plays all game, I do think that we could compete with that. And then as far as the front court goes, gosh, number 10, forget his name.
for LSU.
Sutton.
Okay.
Yes. Sutton, I mean, he shot it well against us. He runs in transition. He's like your
Yes.
typical prototypical 3-and-D build, right?
Hmm.
Like that's what we look at. And then Nwoko, Malachi, that was early on in SEC play. Same with Garrison. Both of them we're still feeling it out a little bit. We just have to match their physicality in the front court.
Right.
And, I think we should be able to handle that one. Now, Missouri, they've got an extra day of rest. We're coming off a day right before, probably a tough
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Missouri's going to play really, really hard, and they're going to trap, and they're going to deny, and they're going to run and gun. They're going to shoot the lanes. So this is going to, like, every single facet of what we do is going to be tested when we play Missouri. You know,
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Right. Yep.
yeah. Do we pass the ball with urgency? Do we use our ball fakes? Do we cut with purpose? Do we do any of those things? That is determined to be told. I mean, heck, we may not even be having this conversation again because they may not. But
May not, yeah.
they make the Missouri. I think we can beat Missouri because of how it slipped out of our hands last time.
I do too.
Missouri's humming, but you're looking at an Arkansas team minus the SEC Player of the Year that walked into Mizzou Arena, one of the toughest places to play in the country,
Yep.
on senior day and won.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to reiterate what I've
Yeah.
said
I mean,
several times the last few weeks. I think one of the biggest keys to us winning in general is Colin has to get some shots up. They have to be some quality shots. That's going to help open up the other side of the court, the down low for Malachi. It's going to help open the driving lanes for Otega and Denzel. But we have to have that three-headed beast with Denzel, Otega, and Colin. And if they play like they can play, and if they shoot it, and not just like they don't have to shoot 45%, but if they can shoot anywhere between 36 to 42% collectively, I think we can be something to be reckoned with. But, the big question is Colin going to get his 5 or 6 looks that are all just kind of desperation, halfway open type shots, or can we get him those rhythm threes to light a fire under us and get going?
yeah, I agree. I look at the LSU in our way. I think we beat LSU. I think we can beat Missouri. Like Michael said, Missouri's coming in on a day's rest. They are big. They are long. They like to run. Mitchell's he's a good stretch 4 or 5, whatever position they have him in at the time. And he's playing really well. He put up a 30 spot against Arkansas on Saturday. Do I think we can win 5? Here's the thing. If we go into LSU and we get on a roll and we look like we're confident, then yes. If we go in there and we're knocking down shots and we are playing confident and not looking like we're setting back on our hands, then yeah. And once you get past that first game, and if you're in a good role, in a good space, the second game, you come in a little more confident, a little more ready to win. And then from that game on, after you beat Missouri, now it's a will and a want more than they do. Because now
Yeah,
you're grabbing down deep and finding what's inside of you. And if you want to win, that matter if you don't, as a coaching staff and as players.
sure.
And then to win 5, I think we have to come out against LSU on a good roll with good momentum that leads us into the Missouri game.
Agreed.
I agree.
100% agreed. I think if we can get that momentum going, you got the BBN crowd that's in Bridgestone in Nashville to be their typical selves, and it's a little bit different than the Rupp Arena crowd, right? They're a little bit more wild. They've maybe been on Broadway for a couple hours, and they weasel their way into the
Right.
games. Hopefully, the energy will be there, and we get to Florida. I think we get to Florida. I do think that we can get to Florida. And now I will just go back to say, can we go out and take that game against Florida when we know we can? When we have two samples now to pull from film, from watching their adjustments and how we could counter that
Right.
quicker than we did last time, right? I think it can be there. Like I said, I'd rather play Florida, and it sounds crazy, but I'd rather play Florida than Bama and Arkansas on Fridays.
I
You know,
would too.
if
I would want to play
if we get
Arkansas
there,
right now.
then yeah,
Yep. I think
I
we got a
think
shot.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I think would I preferred the other draws? Maybe. Arkansas, I think because of just the talent, Billy Richmond has came into form. He looks like,
Yeah.
he could be primed to be all SEC next year, maybe even scratch All American. I mean, you're looking
Right.
at the kid who he's a jump shot away from being a wing version of Terrence Jones. I mean,
I know, man.
he's,
He's
lefty,
good.
he's
Yep.
fluid, he's above the rim, he rebounds, he guards, he runs and runs and runs and runs. He's got all types of energy. I think, their name of the game for them, they got 7 guys in their rotation. We've got 8.
Yep.
We get Nick Pringle worked up and in foul trouble.
There you
We get
go.
Malik Ewan in foul trouble.
Yep.
Well, I mean, where do you turn, right? So, but no, I think we get to Florida. I think what it does for us is it shows us like, okay, we're capable of winning.
Mhm.
We're capable of playing on short rest. We owe these jokers big time,
Yeah.
and we got to take some of this to them. They can't take it to us, you know? It pissed everybody off. Excuse my French. I don't know if that's bad or
No,
not,
no,
but
You're
you're
good.
this
Yeah.
it
you're
pissed
Listen, you're
good.
good.
everybody off in Rupp Arena that was there watching Todd Golden walk up and down the sidelines like it was his gym. You know, it
I
bothered a lot of
know.
Yeah.
people.
Oh, yes.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
we talked about that.
Has he earned the right to be that arrogant? Yes.
Yeah.
11 straight
Absolutely, he
wins,
has. Oh,
just coming off a national championship, an SEC championship last year. I mean, in my
I
opinion,
mean,
you're
I'd
gonna
be
have to
doing it
shut
too.
me up. You gotta shut
Yeah.
me
Exactly.
up.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't care what you say. You gotta shut me up.
Yep.
Now, I think on the flip side, when you look at Todd Golden, you know, and from a roster standpoint, like he's got his guys clearly know what they're supposed to do. From 1 to 9, they all know exactly what they're supposed to do. When Hand Locked comes in the game, he's supposed to crash the glass, set great screens, and be a physical presence in the post. When Isaac Brown comes in the game, he's supposed to knock down open shots and play like he's a scorer. You need to you're Boogie Flan on the bench unit. Okay.
Yep.
And then Urban Klobuchar, same thing. You got to come in and you have to knock down shots for us. So, you know, they've got all the bodies, they've got all the tools, all the pieces. Somebody just needs to beat them and say, look, it's one, it's possible. But two, hey, man, like Todd Golden, you got to earn your respect again. Like, we got to beat you. You know, like
Yeah.
that's how I feel. If
Yeah.
I'm Kentucky, if I'm Pope, I'm walking in. We make it to Friday. I'm walking into the locker room after Thursday's game, and I'm saying, "Look, you,
Mhm. Right.
crazy, right? You all
Yes.
need to understand. Like this means a lot to me. Okay, it should mean that much more to you. Like, I know it had to have been disappointing to walk out of there on senior day, you know, for guys like Walker and Zach who had, you know, what kind of impact were they going to get to have on that game, if nothing else, just, you know, pulling at heartstrings before the game during the senior
Right.
festivities.
Right.
Right.
Like they had no control. They probably wanted to win that as bad as anybody. I know they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
So the way you sent our seniors out, we should be wanting to right that wrong.
Right.
And two, the way Todd Golden walked up and down our sideline like it was all his, like, man, we got to do something about that. We are Kentucky, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what we need to do.
Yep.
I'm
Dude.
not saying that means Todd Golden's a bad coach, bad guy. I just think
No.
if I was
I
on that team in Kentucky, that's what I want. I want to right that wrong. I want to shut him up. I want him to realize, like, it does mean something to me. We are gonna beat you. Like, that's what we want. I don't want it's the thing with Danny Hurley, when Florida finally beat them last year, you finally saw him be like, you know, and he went back to the Maui Invitational. You know, just people been against us all year. They've been against us. And
Yeah.
you know, you want them to scramble back into that because like every great coach, they need a moment where they're humbled a little bit, right?
Right.
You
absolutely.
know,
Yep.
Sure.
Calipari for you know, sorry, that's probably even worse of a cuss word than pissed on here.
No, hey, listen.
Calipari,
No.
when you look at him,
Anything is
Right.
good.
2015 comes
Right.
around. You know what I'm saying? 2015 comes around. We have the best team we may have ever had.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're right there. I'd be feeling great if I was Cal. 2010, I play in the Elite Eight. We shoot terribly, but I
Yep.
have 5 first round picks. 2011, tough team. Oh, guess where we end up? Back in the Final Four. Wow.
Right.
2012, man, I've got the number 1 pick. I've got the number 2 pick. I've got the number 1 point guard in the country. I got sophomore Terrence Jones. We're winning the national championship. 2013 comes around. Nerlens goes down. You know, watch, whatever. 14, I get the best player in the country in Julius Randle, and we go back to the national championship.
Right.
15, I've got 11 guys that can play in the NBA. We're in the Final Four, and not only are we just in the Final Four, we are 38-0. Nobody has beat us yet this year.
Yeah.
What are you supposed to tell John Calipari at that point?
You
Hey,
can't.
coach, you got to improve, man. You got to do better.
After a run like that, and I don't think that anybody will even come close. I mean, I don't know. Maybe UConn. I mean, they're on a run. Who knows? Maybe Florida. But that run from 2010 to 2015 for sure. But even extend that to 2016, 17.
Take it
Or was
right
it-
up until COVID. The Maxey and IQ team were getting ready
Yeah,
to win the
I mean,
SEC championship.
you
I
could
mean,
do
he had
that,
some
but like,
teams.
yeah, he did. He did. But from 2010 to 15, in my opinion, a 5-year run like that,
Was insane. Yeah.
obviously the 2015, that just hurts. It just, every time I bring that up, I just cringe inside
Yep.
because we know what we had, and it was just an unbelievable amount of talent and dudes that were just all getting ready to inch their way into the league. But yeah, no, listen, I think we get to Friday. At that point, if we get to Friday, I think I'll probably throw up a coin and say 50-50 because I think that we do have some momentum behind us. I think that BBN itself will go crazy in Nashville on Friday for that game against Florida to get another shot at them 6 days later. I think it'll be nuts. So I think that it'll be coin toss. If we can beat Florida, we have to decide to go out and do it. But, the question is, can we do it? Right? So
Yeah, I'm right there with Malachi. If we get to Friday, Pope has to walk in with a confidence and air into that game that, guys in Austin, you know the type of coach I was. I was a lot like Todd Golden. I dared anybody say anything. You had to knock me out before you were going to say anything to me, and nobody ever did. So I think Pope has to go in there and say, listen, just like you said, get in there. This man tried to show us up on our home floor, acted like he owned that place.
not tried, he did.
He did. And then get in there. He made a comment about Denzel. Bring that up. You know what I mean? Just give them something to want to go in there if they get to Friday and punch them in the mouth.
Right.
But
It circles back to the challenge piece, like challenging your players.
Yes.
Players need to challenge the coach. Like, somebody has to be the one to say something, right? Somebody, like in Yelovich, he alluded to it in the media, but something needs to be stated. Like, fellas, like, it ain't about fatigue, it ain't about maturity, it ain't about none of that. It's about winning,
Right.
okay? And whatever it takes, you put aside your pride for the betterment of the team, and we are talented enough to win as is. Now,
Yes.
granted, would I love to see a little Willis Reed action and Cam Williams? I'd love it. Love
My
it.
God, me too. I was
Yeah.
just getting ready
And
to
I
For
think
ask.
sure.
you look at
Maybe,
say we
hopefully.
do get through LSU. Boom, Thursday rolls around. What do you think's going to happen in Bridgestone when Cam Williams rips off his pants on the bench and runs to the score set?
They go
It'll be
nuts.
nuts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think it's
Yeah.
going to do?
It'll be
I agree.
nuts. And
I
it'll be
agree.
awesome. I mean, it'll be great for the morale of the team and the arena and just give you that piece to where, I mean, he was starting to shoot the ball really well right when he got hurt. So if he could just come in and give us 10 minutes and, give those guys a little break here and there, knock down a 3 or 2, we're golden right there, brother.
Yeah, I mean, you got Cam and Colin on the wings with 2 dangerous threats from outside. At some point, you have to pick your poison. If we can weasel our way into the paint and get some penetration to separate them and get them shots, I agree. If he shows up, and I don't know if there was a press conference today that gave us any information on that at all, but if he does, and I know last week they mentioned it, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yep. You can always hope.
Yep. Guys, we will go ahead and wrap that up. SEC tournament preview show with Coach Kyle, Michael Moreno. I appreciate you all hopping on. It's March. Let's go in. Let's go take it. It's winning time, or it's get your butt home.
It's time to win, boys.
We'll see. We will see. This was BBN Unfiltered SEC tournament preview show. Go Cats. Y'all have a good one.
Go Cats.